Hi everyone, 2nd of March today, and we're sort of struggling on, and the weather just keeps on raining. Not really any sign of much dry weather in the forecast, and yeah, it's just making everything very difficult. I'm just going to put some fodder beet out for the sheep at the moment, and well, we're making a bit of a mess, but we've got to feed them, and yeah, there's not much we can do about it. We heard on the radio this morning they were saying about sort of the amount of rainfall in certain parts of Cornwall, and in certain places like where it's higher ground they've had over 300 millimeters of rain in February. We are sort of in a drier area here generally, but it's still wet, but we've had about, or just over 160 mils of rain in February, so yeah, not as much as some, but still way more than we need. And I've got it here on my phone, and yeah, last year in February, this is not our own figures, this is figures from a website that Dad found earlier, and last year in February we had 17.8 millimeters of rain, so hardly anything. And in 2022 we had 15.6, then 86 in 2021, but in 2020 we had 175.8. Now, as I say, this is not our data, this is data from Newquay Airport, which is fairly close to us, so it's close enough to be reasonably accurate. But yeah, so and that record as well is showing that already in March 15.4 mils have been recorded. Well, like I say, it's only the 2nd today, and well, the shower's about now, but I don't really get much more rain for the rest of the day. We have seen a bit of sun, but yeah, it's certainly wet. Right, I'm going to take this fodder beet over for the sheep, and I'll put the camera going again when we get there in the field, and then you can see how wet it is. Yeah, so we're just in the field now, and trying to pick some, but you can see it is wet. And sheep down here, he's just fed them with the snacker. These are last year's lambs, and we are going to go through them in the next couple of days to find some to sell. Time which there's cull ewes here as well, so we put the ewes, we've had the ewes running with the last lot of ewes to lambs, so there's a few there that were empty when we scanned, so they're now with these as of today, and there's some that will go to market this Wednesday, so hopefully we'll have a good sale and get rid of some numbers, because there's too many here. They're eating fodder beet that we're buying in, and the price has gone up now, so hopefully we can have a good sale and get rid of some. You just sort of tip it out on the ground like this, and you can see now the tractor's making marks. I might drive somewhere else, I'm not in the same wheelings. Tried to spread them out fairly thin on the ground, so if you tip out too many in one place, it makes more of a mess with them treading it up. The mess looks, well, it does look quite bad, but I'm fairly confident it'll recover alright. They're sort of eating nearly a bucket full. It's not a huge bucket, I know, but they're eating like a bucket full nearly a bucketful a day, so I'll every sort of 2 or 3 days, you can miss a day because they've got some to clear up. There we are. That's that. Yeah, so we're just about to start milling some corn, so I go on, it's a straw chopper, and so we need this tractor to run that. So it's not too bad to unhitch. It's a PTO shaft and a cable off the control box. So it's just a plug, so it's not actually a cable that it doesn't more than take power to the straw chopper, because it still needs to get power there, which is a shame really, because actual control, it's done on Bluetooth. So yeah, so it's just a power lead. So I'll do that in a minute, and then we'll go and hitch up the mill. We always put the mill in under cover, and it lives in here now with the grain, but we did have it in the straw shed once, but rain blew in there, and it blew in there and then went down through it, and all the grain that was left in it milled down in the bottom. This belt driven, the auger that takes it out from underneath is belt driven, and then it brings it back through here, and then there's a hydraulic motor here that drives the auger, and the belt started slipping because it was all wet muck in there, and it jammed it solid, and it took us like hours to get it clear. So we always keep it in dry now to make sure that doesn't happen again. We did a while back, another time it jammed was when the drive belt, the inside here there's a pulley off there, and that belt broke, and that jammed it solid as well. So yeah, so there's our bucket that lives in here all the time, and it's only used for grain. That's the one I did the sides on. Yeah, so Dad's just gone to feed the last lot of sheep, and I'll start milling the grain, so it's all parked up here ready to go, and get it running. We looks a bit untidy here, there's mud everywhere, but we got our plastic here which looks untidy against the fertilizer, but what we tend to do is we do bag it up until it gets too much, and we ended up with it just a pile. But what we tend to do is try to keep it in here, and it mainly stays dry, and then we send it off then to a firm from Devon, and they're absolutely brilliant, and they just come with a high-ab on a lorry and load it all up, and works out really well. And if it's kept dry, it's not too bad at all really, and it doesn't cost that much to have it disposed of, so that's what we do. Right, I'll get the mill going. Always put the spool valve running first, and got that there, and that hook I made so I can lock it in for the straw chopper. Before we used to tie it up, but so always make sure that's running first, and then turn the mill on. PTO, so that's running, and get it up to about sort of 1700. So it's all running, and go and start some corn going through it. Yeah, so let's tip this bucket full in a minute. The bucket is working well now, and it doesn't spill out over the sides like it used to. Yeah, so we got the whole grain back there, and then we've got a bunker here that in a minute, when we finish milling it, we tip the trailer in here, and then we bag it up off the floor after. So it's not ideal, but it's just what we got to do really, because we don't sort of feed like TMR or anything like that, and we haven't got a hopper to bag it off. Well, we have got a hopper, but the sides aren't steep enough to bag off milled grain, because the trouble is it bridges in there, so it's not easy, and it's not too bad. So we sort of just bag it up here every day, and sort of like 10 minutes a day just bagging up the corn. Yeah, we'll just check out the tractor a minute. Always just keep a bit of an eye on the temperature gauge. I don't know if you can see it there, but it's running nice and cool. Yeah, so that's coming on a bit now. We'll stick another couple of bucketfuls in because it's nearly empty, and that'll be that. Yeah, so it's southwest area for the young farmers, and that's in Newquay this weekend. And one of the clubs, which is Helston St Kevin, did a cycle ride yesterday from their area, like Helston, and they cycled to Newquay. So I think it's 30 miles. So I think they're raising money for Children's Ward at Tris Hospital, which is Cornwall's main hospital, and also I think their club funds. So the chairman got in touch with me a few weeks ago and asked if we could just sort of like do a little pit stop for them of some drinks and something to eat. So I said we would, and we're sort of on the last leg of their journey. So we did that yesterday, and I'll put a picture on as part of this video of them, but they successfully did that, and hopefully they'll raise quite a bit of money. So it's sort of quite nice to be able to help them out a little bit. I sort of knew them anyway, or three of them anyway, or four of them actually, I knew fairly well, because they, for 10 years I did a couple of days a week lecturing apprentices at a local agricultural college, and so I knew them through that, and yeah, I sort of always got on well with them, and I thought it'd be nice to help them out by doing that for them. So yeah, so that was good, and I imagine having a good time in Newquay this weekend. I'm definitely too old for it now, so that's good. Like I say, hopefully they raised a bit of money. So right, I am going to just keep an eye on this and maybe put a little bit more in, because some of the bucketfuls weren't full. We've done 5 bucketfuls now, so yeah, just a tiny bit more. If I overdo it, I'll overflow the trailer. So right, thanks for watching, and I'll be back with another video soon.